Hi, Aoife. Great to have you with us today. How have the last couple of weeks been for you guys after the back of your defeat to Sale?
Yeah, no, it's been a good couple of weeks. I think everyone's kind of glad they got the week off, and like a few people headed home. A few people just hung around and got on with a few little bits and pieces. But yeah, no, it's been good to come back in as a group there yesterday. Just kind of hearing everyone's stories of what they got up to on the break and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's been refreshing.
Any good stories that you can share with us?
I don't know about that now. Yeah, no, just everyone going home, I suppose, and then you have Bimba and Claudia off getting a bit of sun back in Spain. So I think a few people were a bit jealous, but then I guess the weather hasn't been too bad last week either, has it?
And what have you been up to personally?
Oh, I just kept working away. I had an exam last week with university, so got that ticked off, and yeah, just runs, gyms, bits and pieces of rehab, and yeah, just keeping myself ticking because yeah, I've got one eye on the Six Nations too, so I have to try keep myself fit and healthy for that.
Well, absolutely. What exam was it? Do you mind me asking?
It was an exam in neurology. Yeah, so I'm studying physiotherapy. So yeah, that exam was like you had a couple of pathologies, and yeah, just a half an hour test on those. So yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, and didn't do too bad. So I was happy enough to get it done.
Did you guys have a bit of time to kind of reflect on the game against Sale, and did you have any key takeaways after that game?
Yeah, I suppose as a group, like we had a little bit of time. Obviously, we went straight into that break, so coming back this week, there was bits and pieces that we wanted to pick up. But yeah, main thing is that like we gave ourselves a shot to win it at the end, and we just didn't take it. But yeah, look, there was loads to take from the game, and then there was bits that you had to nearly just put in the bin as well with just the conditions that it was, because it's not very often you go back to a game where you're literally you can't tell who's on your team because the jerseys are all just covered. But yeah, no, look, there's loads we can take from it, and we're just looking to build into the next 4 weeks now.
Yeah, and you're at home, which is always nice, isn't it? You haven't won at home, from my notes, since the 20th of December. So it's been a little while, hasn't it? How much of a boost does that give you to know that you can perform in front of your home fans? And is that spurring you on at all this week?
Yeah, it's huge. Like I think ticket sales are over 3,000 or something like that, and they've opened up the far stand, which would be very, very cool. So yeah, no, like I think that bit of an extra roar, it always edges you on when you're on the field, and just to know that you're kind of being supported and that kind of thing, because yeah, they do help you in those tougher moments. And I suppose with it being a London derby as well, it's always going to get a bit spicy. So yeah, no, very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, we love a London derby. We're all very much
yeah, I've learned that.
Looking forward to someone else in a second. But just quickly, from your perspective, you've been with the team a little while now. How are you settling in, and how would you describe maybe Harlequins? If I said describe them in 3 words, what would you describe them as?
Oh God, I don't think I'd even be able to pick 3 words. Yeah, I've only been here now a few months. But yeah, genuinely, it's just been so much crack, and getting to know everyone has been really interesting. Everyone is obviously very different and come from different backgrounds, different countries, and like they all have their own little bits of skills that they like to kind of bring to the game. And yeah, no, I think even off the field, it's been great. Obviously, it's a very different setup to Ireland and how we do things back home in the contracted system, but to be honest, like, yeah, I think coming over has just bettered me as a player, and it's just, I suppose, nearly given me a life outside of rugby as well to kind of, yeah, just take a breath when you come off the field, I guess. But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying my time here at Quins. So yeah, I suppose if I was to pick three words, I'm going to use good crack as one word.
Take it.
Yeah, exciting, and yeah, probably just interesting. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, three different words.
Sorry, I'm going to shut up. But my last question is there anyone as well who's kind of put their arm around you? You have to get pretty close with some of these girls when you're packing down together. So is there anyone who's kind of showed you the ropes almost?
Yeah, well, Jade Conkle's been class, so she has, obviously being captain of the team as well, and she had a bit of courting to do, tried to get me over for a while. But yeah, no, look, she's been brilliant, and obviously being a back row herself, or second row as she is the last few weeks. But yeah, learning from her has been really good. But like I'm living with the likes of Bimba and Alcal as well, so they've been absolutely brilliant, and then getting on really well with basically the whole team. To be fair, like it's just, yeah, no matter who you sit down with, you could chat and that kind of thing with anybody. So it's just that type of group where everybody just, yeah, you can literally go for a cup of coffee with anybody. It doesn't really matter who they are, and I think that kind of just shows how good of an environment it really is.
Lovely, thank you.
No, cheers, thank you.
Nick, all yours?
Was that my name? Sorry.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well,
Hi everybody. Hey, how are you?
oh, good, yeah, no, not too bad.
Good. I'm intrigued by you mentioning Jade working hard to get you over it. Does this mean that she could only retire if she got someone of the sort of ball carrying class that she has to come in and take her place?
I think you'd have to ask her that question. I think it's gas because you actually commentated with her for one of it was our French game, like France-Ireland over in Le Mans, and I think it probably started from around that kind of date of her being on and just being like, you interested? And yeah, different bits and pieces kind of meant I couldn't exactly come over when I wanted to. But yeah, look, she has taught me a lot. So both on and off the field, to be fair, like how she juggles everything and manages everything outside rugby is just as inspiring as it is as what she is on field. So yeah, no, you'd have to ask her that question, I reckon.
Love it. What can you conjure up over this sort of London rivalry? I'll be the one to say I think it's fairly clear that Saracens and Harlequins don't particularly like each other a whole lot. How does that permeate to you in your time at the club? What do you reflect on that? Is it just fun? Is it genuine needle? What do you think?
Yeah, it was probably one of the first things that was mentioned to me when I come over to the club, and even before I'd signed, it was important to me to come out to the clubs and kind of meet different people and see the environment, see what there is here. And one of the games I actually went to was the Saracens versus Harlequins game last year in the Stoop, and yeah, you could feel the atmosphere was just tense. So. Yeah, like I think I've nearly been described as it's just like a Leinster-Munster rivalry as in terms of Irish terms, but yeah, it's tense, and I think the girls are all just geared up to go at it this week and just not take a step back, because yeah, I think even though Saris have had a good kind of run of form and that kind of thing, I think on the day of these kind of derbies, it literally doesn't matter what's happened in the past, it's who shows up on the day.
And every point is critical. 3 teams into 2 spots, probably the way that it stands between, 3rd to 5th. How vital is it that, almost regardless of result, obviously you want to go for the win, but that actually the focus is across the full 80 minutes, so that even if a victory is not looking likely, you're getting everything you possibly can from the game. Is that sort of something that already, with the abacus out, people are conscious of?
I think people are definitely conscious of how tight the league is and how competitive it is. I think when you're on the field, like the game leaders would probably be more conscious than what other players might be. But to be honest, I think it's something that Quins have developed over the last kind of few weeks of just being a hard team to beat, and kind of staying in it with that 80 minutes kind of game, because like you saw against Exeter when we clawed back a game, or against Ealing or whoever it might be, that we're a team that now sticks in it. And yeah, those points are going to be vital. And to be honest, like they probably kept us in it, like in the race of the kind of top 4 after Christmas, of like we stuck in games and we got points that we needed to get out of it, and that kind of thing. But yeah, like points are always crucial. So going into the next block, they're just going to be as important.
Yeah, and then a last one from me. You're playing alongside, obviously, the likes of Liana Micheli too, in what I understand will be her last kind of month at the club, then through to the end of March, unless Harry can direct me otherwise. But what's that sort of experience like, and is there any kind of conversation there, as if, come on girls, let's get this to where it needs to be before I've got to nip off elsewhere?
Yeah, well, Lee's just an exceptional person. Like behind the player, I get on really well with her, and it was her birthday yesterday actually as well. But yeah, she's just amazing, and she's been absolutely brilliant to have in the club as well. To kind of come in at around the same time and just learn from each other has been really cool, because obviously down in New Zealand they play a different kind of style of rugby to what we're probably used to up here. But yeah, it's been brilliant learning from her. And just having a bit of crack with her then off the field too. But yeah, like she's definitely a leader in our squad, and demands high standards, as we all do. But yeah, hopefully we can go out on a couple of highs for her this month as well.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks very much for your time, Aoife. We'll see you
cheers.
over the weekend.
Thank you.
Andy, all yours.
Hi, Aoife. Does it? You mentioned about the rivalry. Obviously, does the club feel a little bit different in a week leading up to a derby game?
I mean, it's only Tuesday so far, so I can't. I don't really know, but yeah, I mean, like everyone's just excited, and I suppose with the week off as well, everyone's just itching to play a bit of rugby, and we'll have our first kind of full goo session, I suppose, like going at each other tonight. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how spicy that gets and how intense it kind of builds to. But yeah, like so far, probably not, because we're just focusing on ourselves and kind of what we can bring to that Sarries game and how we can attack them. So yeah, like I think we kind of go into every week as the same, but obviously I'm sure as the week goes on, it'll get a bit more juicy towards that bit of rivalry.
It was obviously quite a tough game away to Saracens. What kind of gives you the confidence that you can kind of redress the balance a bit there?
Yeah, so I was actually still up in the stands playing the drums at that stage. But yeah, no, look, I think it'll be a very different game, to be honest with you. I think we're probably a very different team to what we were all the way back at the start of the season. We've grown in a lot of different areas, as of they, but yeah, I think we can be confident with different aspects of the game that we're going to really target, because we've worked really hard on it, and like we've turned different areas into strengths of what we believe anyway. So yeah, no, I think it'll be an interesting fixture, but I do think it'll be different to what it was a few months back.
And with the way the season's structured, with the Six Nations coming up, as you say, you mentioned this block starting. I mean, does it feel like this is the run-in, even though you've got that massive gap till the end of the regular season, that you've kind of got to hit your straps in this period?
Well, I think every team probably needed to hit their straps about, I don't know, at the start of the season nearly, just with how tight the league actually is. So yeah, like you probably could have said that about us maybe, I don't know, start of last block even, because like no matter what game you play, like you need to be on form, because like as Nick said, it's that race to the top four, and there's loads of teams that can slot into third or fourth now to try get into a playoff. So yeah, I think it is that thing of every game matters. So yeah, I don't think it's a thing of you can take a breath, because if you breathe out, then you're probably kicked out of the top four.
And personally for you, just how excited are you to go up against that Saracens team, given what they've achieved, some of those players, and just how well they're going this season?
Yeah, no, I'm excited to hopefully get the chance to do that, because yeah, like they're a star-studded team. Like they've World Cup winners, they've silver medalist World Cup. Like they've just brilliant players all around the park. Like I think no matter where you kind of look, there's always someone there of really good quality. So yeah, no, it's going to be a really good challenge. And even if you look at the back row, like there's some really exciting matchups there as well. So yeah, hopefully we can just bring it and bring an exciting show to the crowd too.
Good luck.
No, cheers, thank you.
Jenny, all yours.
Thanks very much. Hi, Aoife, how are you?
Well, you all right? How you keeping?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I just wanted to start off with, obviously there's been a lot kicking around on social media from 2 weeks, the match 2 weeks ago in Sale, and I just wondered if you'd ever played in a mud bath like that before.
Well, I've grown up in the countryside in Ireland, and I can assure you I've seen a lot more rain in Ireland than I have in England. So yeah, I can say with confidence I have played in worse pitches, but the pitches that I'd be talking about, God, like I'd be like it throws you back to like when you're a kid playing rugby, and it's that kind of thing of you play your minis blitz or whatever it is, and you go in, you have a couple of sandwiches afterwards, and then your mum or your dad won't let you in the car unless you sit in a black bag because they don't want to get the car dirty. But yeah, no, look, it was obviously a pitch that probably didn't have a lot of grass, but it brings that different style of rugby and a different challenge to what I suppose you're used to seeing in PWR too. So yeah, no, look, I think the team is very much looking forward to get back out on the Stoop grass, because yeah, the groundsmen, I think, have done a very good job on keeping that grass well for this amount of time, and yeah, they're very, I suppose, precious over it as well, because they like to keep it spick and span. But I was out at a Worthing game recently and against Exeter, and yeah, the pitch looked absolutely brilliant. So I think everyone's just looking forward to getting out on a bit of grass and just throwing the ball about against Saracens.
Yeah, some of the pictures, I have to say, were absolutely epic.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, your stats and Jade's stats were the best, basically, of round 12. So it was quite interesting to see that. But I guess this kind of next section of fixtures, it's been mentioned a little bit. How responsible are the players, I guess, in terms of how much you need to knuckle down over this little period, because it is so contentious for a playoff spot at the moment?
Yeah, like as a squad, we speak a lot about that it's that 64 kind of squad job. But to be honest, like there's I don't know how many staff. We'll say 30. So it's like you're talking near around 100 people that are responsible for us trying to get into a playoff. So yeah, like it does come down to that 23. That's going to hopefully take the field. But at the end of the day, you've 100 odd people behind that. So yeah, like it is important for us to finish the job on the field, but like it's the training and whatever you do beforehand that's going to get you that win. So yeah, I think for us it's always been about a squad effort, and I think it's not going to be different coming into the last, like this block, and then obviously hopefully a playoff, and we've got Tigers I think after the Six Nations block too. So obviously you don't even know how people are going to come out of that Six Nations block with injuries or whatever it might be. Touch wood, hopefully I won't be talking about that, but yeah, look, I think we've 64 odd players and then 30 odd staff that are all responsible for getting us to playoffs and hopefully going further then too.
Now, you last played Saris in round 2, you mentioned it a few months ago, and kind of how different you are as a team now. What areas have you grown in particular? What's changed for you guys? Obviously, for you being newer, you've got to know everyone a bit better, and it was just off the back of a World Cup as well. Everyone's kind of found their feet. So kind of what has changed for you guys?
Yeah, I think we've worked on a lot of aspects, to be fair. Like our stats team had done a really good job at identifying which areas that we weren't particularly strong in, and we just really chased after those, like with weeks of training, I suppose. But yeah, I guess like finishing things was massive for us, whether that's backs or forwards, and we really went after that kind of 22 attack or just your green zone entries and how much you can convert. And it's probably an area now that teams fear when they come up against us. It's like if we get them in a 22, we're incredibly hard to stop because we've got a really good game and the forwards are very clear on what we need to do. So yeah, I'd say that area is probably one of our strongest that we've worked on in the past while, because it's probably not something that's always been there. But yeah, there's plenty of areas, but yeah, I can't let you know all of them, I suppose.
That's what you can give away. No, I totally get that. No, that's perfect. Thanks very much. All the best on Saturday. We'll see you there.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Helen, all yours.
Hi Aoife, nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, and the last time when you played the reverse of this game, you were sitting behind me on that drum, so I'm still finding my ears are ringing from that, basically. And so you were still injured then, and Lee only came on as a sub in the second half, I think it was. Mm-hmm. So your team has changed quite a bit since then, and I wonder where you think this match is going to be won and lost.
Could be anywhere, to be fair. Yeah, I think there's a lot of different factors that could feature into that, whether it's, I don't know, like if it's pouring rain, then like it could be the forwards that win the game. If it's bright and sunny, then it could be down to the back. So to be honest, I couldn't really give you a dead set answer, but yeah, I think for us it's just focusing about what we can do right. We obviously have a plan on how to attack Saris and how to get the result that we want to get. So yeah, I think if we can execute that to the best of our ability, then yeah, we're in with a shout to win this.
And I presume you watched their match against Exeter last week.
Mm. Yeah.
And, I wonder, when you look at a game like that, does it sort of make your mouth water about coming up against them, the power of them?
Yeah. I think I just love rugby so much that I look at any game and think that I'd love to face a certain team. But yeah, look at, like, we watched our game against Exeter last week. We obviously watched our game against Bristol too, and I think both games kind of show a different sides to them in terms of how ruthless they could be. But as well, they do have vulnerabilities, and I think Bristol stuck to their game plan, and they got areas of that game really right. And it hurt Saris, and they were quite difficult to deal with. But yeah, look at it again. Like, we have our own game plan, and I'm just really excited to be able to kind of show that and hopefully get across a good result that our fans and family and friends can be proud of.
Brilliant. Now, you just mentioned it a couple of times, but the Six Nations that is on the horizon now, it seems to be coming very fast towards us. What does the Six Nations mean to you?
God, yeah, I think I probably can't put it into words, like what it actually means to wear an Irish jersey. And yeah, being a proud Irish woman, it's something that I'm very passionate about. And yeah, the girls like to get a bit of slagging out of me, that the fact that I'm over in England, but yeah, no, look, I love playing for my country, and I love being home. I love being with my team, and yeah, to do it in Six Nations and just represent the fans of Ireland. And yeah, like, I probably can't even put it into words, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think in this Six Nations, it's going to be incredibly exciting because yeah, I think we owe a few teams a few little nudges, but yeah, it's going to be an exciting Six Nations, I think.
And what's your first memory of the Six Nations?
It's probably actually Women's Six Nations games, Irish games in Ashburn. Because growing up, like, I knew I always wanted to play for Ireland. Like, picked up a rugby ball at 6 years old and straight away was like, yeah, I want to play for Ireland. But I didn't exactly know there was a women's team, so I was like, right, I'm just going to have to do it for the men. But thankfully my parents knew otherwise, and they brought me to every game they could, whether it was Leinster or Ireland, or whether it was local clubs, or like, Mam was literally on one of the starting teams in our local club. So like, she herself and my dad just showed me that women's rugby exists, and Ireland are actually very powerful at women's rugby at that time as well. So yeah, probably just going down to games in Ashburn, and whether it's the lights turning off in the middle of a game, or whether it's Ireland winning the Six Nations or the Grand Slam or whatever it is, like Ireland were extremely powerful back then, and I grew up in an era where Irish rugby was very successful in the women's game.